Hey, everybody. Grant Miller here, Miami Community News. I'm with Monique. How do you pronounce your last name exactly?
Monique Pardo
Padron?
Pope.
Padron Pope.
Pardo Pope, yes.
All right, listen. You're running for Miami Beach Commission.
I sure am.
Very exciting because
Thank you.
we all think different, but Miami Beach is the engine of Dade County.
Oh, and it has the most incredible jewel of Miami-Dade County, which is our beautiful beach.
Yeah, everybody goes, I see people talk about this or that. No, Miami Beach is the engine. People come to be on Miami Beach. LeBron James didn't say, hey, I'm going to city Miami. No, he said, I'm going to South Beach.
Exactly right.
And Miami Beach is more than just South Beach now.
Mm-hmm.
And before we get into about you, any given day, how many people live, work, and play there? When it's high season.
Sure. Well, year-round, we have about 82,000 residents.
That's residents.
In Miami Beach. Whether they're year-round is questionable. As you know, we have a very large transient community. We have a number of tourists that come in and out, particularly in the high season months. During the summer lulls, because it's hot, you get a lot of Europeans and a lot of locals that stay because they work and they go to summer school and whatnot. But I would say, on average, you're looking at 13 to 15,000, at any given time throughout the year. But
tourists.
Yes.
But so now we're at 100. And how many workers?
Well,
that's a lot. Give and take, I heard it's between 130 and 150,000 on any given time. And it's just incredible. That's an incredible feat. You think these little bridges handle all of it.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I just was on Mount Sinai. What they're building there is incredible.
It is.
Wow.
It is. So we actually live right across the street from Mount Sinai. We're on 45th and Jefferson. And we have Mount Sinai in our backyard, which makes us feel very, very at peace, given that we have a 4 and a 2-year-old.
Wait, you come over, you right to the left?
Well, we're actually in Mid-Beach. So we're in that Nautilus. So we're right across the street from Alton. But Mount Sinai is a beautiful campus. And the CEO, Gino, has done such an amazing job. The nurses there, the first responders, everybody who works on the front lines at Mount Sinai. It's incredible.
A little plug, Cafe Avante, great restaurant.
Oh, that's where we're going to have my campaign kickoff on Tuesday.
And when you see the owner,
yes,
say, didn't your sons play baseball? He'll go, how do you know that?
Lewis is the best.
Yeah.
Yes. And Jessica is wonderful. And we're so grateful. That is our hometown local restaurant where we will find us once a weekend having the best chicken parm, personally, I think.
All right. Let's learn a little bit about you.
Yeah.
You're born where?
Born and raised in Hialeah. Hialeah Hospital. I'm a Hialeah girl.
Wow. But you said you went to Sunset Heights. We'll get to there.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Here's something really crazy. I met this guy, Laz, who grew up in West Hialeah, give or take the Palmetto, a little north of 49th Street. He grew up there. He opened a barbershop. He opened 2. Last week, he gave haircuts. He had 40 barbers come in and cut hair free for all the kids.
Good for him.
And what's more crazy, not that it was that, it was a huge, they gave out thousands of backpacks and this. And the speech was in English. We're in West Hialeah.
Yeah.
And people get, no. All in English except for one sentence that he said to his parents in Spanish. So Hialeah is a great community.
It is.
And they a lot of great things.
La ciudad poderosa, that everybody, the ethic, the hard work that comes out of those that were born and bred in Hialeah, it's just a different mentality. It's a different way of life.
Well, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And Hialeah has come a long way from Mylander years. Okay.
Oh, Mylander. Okay. I was at Bucky Dent. So I used to go to the summers. I used to play at Bucky Dent when my mom was working at Palmetto Hospital. And so I would spend all my summers at Bucky Dent. I was the bumper car or the bumper pool table champion at Bucky Dent.
That's what we want to know about you. You're a candidate. We want to know what sport we can beat.
I am amazing at bumper pool. It's just a very random tidbit of information, but
hey, that's important.
There you go.
Okay, so you grew up in Hialeah, but you went to what elementary school did you go to?
So I actually grew up. I went to Dade Christian. I was at Dade Christian through 6th grade. At which point, my mom could no longer afford to keep me in private school, and so she said, "Honey, I'm sorry, I love you, but we got to go to public school, and you're going to go to Jose Marti." And I threw a fit, and I said, "No, I have my friends. This is my school. This is my family," and it was the best decision that she could have ever made for me because I learned and experienced so much in that first year of 7th grade in Jose Marti. My best friends, my maid of honors that
So
were my wedding.
you drove from Hialeah to Jose Marti.
Well, we lived in Lago Grande.
Okay.
In Hialeah, so I could walk to Jose Marti.
Right.
And so those women that I met in middle school were in my wedding as my maids of honor.
Beautiful.
Yes. So
who was your favorite? Oh, Dade Christian.
Dade Christian.
Who's your favorite teacher?
I would say Miss Satius was my favorite teacher. She was incredible.
Class?
That was 3rd grade.
Okay.
And we did a lot of geography and civic involvement classes and projects. And she took a very motherly role over my well-being and making sure that I felt nurtured and loved and protected. So
Dade Christian, they sold part of the property.
Yes, and now it's no longer what it was.
No.
In its heyday. But the time that I did spend there, I ran a lot of track. I was 4x8, 4x4, 4x8. I spent a lot of time on their softball team.
At Dade Christian.
At Dade Christian. And so I was always very active, involved in many, many sports. And then when I went and did the transition to Jose Marti, I joined the cross country team, the track team, where I captained both of those for the 3 years that I was there before I went over to Barbara Goldman. And I was actually I was the incoming freshman class at Barbara Goldman when Barbara Goldman first opened.
Wait, that's the first class?
Yes.
Well, let's get back to Jose Marti. Who's your favorite teacher there?
Let's see. I had in Jose Marti. Let me try to see who I think was.
Give me 2 of them.
I would have to say it was my English professor, and I believe her name, if I remember correctly, is Mrs. Ramos. At the time, we would write short stories, and I absolutely love writing, and I love creative writing, and she taught me a lot about
That's why you're a successful lawyer.
You know what? I really honed in on my writing skills, my creative writing skills, and I'll share a story with you offline, not on camera, about it. But.
So you went to Barbara Goldman.
Yes. Freshman year, but my parents at the time, we had a place on the beach because there's something about Cubans that I'm sure you know, Grant. Cubans who live in Hialeah always have a very tiny studio in Miami Beach.
Of course.
It's a thing.
Was it in Sunny Isles? Or?
It was in North Beach. It was right off of 72nd.
Do they still have it?
They unfortunately sold it.
Oh,
it's just it's still to this day. We regret that decision wholeheartedly. But we had a place and we would go there every weekend. And prior to that, we lived at Casablanca, which was, I think, Casablanca now, I think it's on 63rd and Collins. But we grew up on the weekends in Miami Beach all the time. So we spent most of our, summers, winters, going to Miami Beach on the weekends and then living in Hialeah during the week.
So average household in Hialeah is $550,000 now. The average home in Hialeah, just FYI. Okay, the reason I ask all these questions, this tells people who you are, where you came from. Oh, you went to Barbara Goldman, and then what? Who's your favorite teacher?
Oh, well, Representative Alex Rizzo.
Was a teacher there?
He was my teacher at Barbara Goldman.
No way.
Yes, and I love him so much. Every time I see him, I always call him teacher because he was the best. He instructed us, and we learned so much from him and science. And he was just really.
He's a good guy.
He's one of the best.
Yeah. All right. So you graduate Barbara Goldman.
I went to Barbara Goldman. We ended up moving to Kendall. And so we went down south, lived in Kendall, moved, parents built a house there, and I transferred to Miami Sunset. So I was a Sunset Night, go Sunset Nights.
So Barbara Goldman 1 year?
I was at Barbara Goldman for 1 year.
Then the last 3 years at Sunset?
10th, 11th, and 12th, graduated from Sunset.
Did you play any sports there at Sunset?
I did. I ran track, I ran cross country, I played badminton. And I was technically
bumper pool? No, they don't have it in high school.
But I was technically on the basketball team, but I don't actually think I got much in the way of playing time. I was more of a mascot, sat more of the bench.
Kept the team, you're in charge of guarding the end of the bench.
Yes. But I was very involved in high school, student government, class officers, key club, you name it. I was involved in it. I've always had very much this high energy for civic involvement, either in my school setting or academic settings, and so I did very well, and was able to graduate with a scholarship, full ride to University of Florida.
Wow!
But my favorite teacher, and I would like to plug him.
Go ahead,
Mr. Kendall. Mr. Kendall is the most incredible English professor that I could have had as a student, because we learned how to read analytically. We learned how to ask the hard questions. And he created such a space for us to challenge our way of thinking. And he held our feet to the fire. And it was the Socratic method before I got to law school was that experience in his class. And I just loved him.
So Mr. Kendall, is he still around? Do you ever speak to him? Do you ever see him?
I see him on Facebook and send messages here and there.
That's
but
great.
I'm going to absolutely be sending him this because I still, to this day, I'm so blessed and grateful that I had him as a teacher.
Oh, congratulations
Yeah.
on remembering all that. Okay, you're off to Florida. What was your undergrad in?
So I was a history and Spanish undergrad, and while I was at University of Florida, I was involved in pretty much all there was to be involved in. I was Florida Blue Key secretary. I was member at large of our student senate. You
went to football games?
I was vice president of my sorority, Kappa Alpha Theta.
Do you see what they do now? The sororities, they do on TikTok. They do this big dancing.
The Rush,
Yeah,
the Rush video.
I love
oh
it.
my gosh! You know what?
Does your fraternity do that?
My sorority, I don't know what they do today, but I know there was a semblance of that camaraderie and that togetherness, because when you are putting yourself out there to new members, you want them to see the best version of you. And I will say, fun fact, I had 13 bridesmaids in my wedding party. And the majority of those were comprised of best friends from middle school and best friends from my sorority.
All right, so you graduate University of Florida and you go to law school.
Yes.
Where?
I went to UCLA. So
Westwood.
I lived, I breathed, studied, spent all of my weekends and nights in Westwood.
Why'd you go to Westwood? I mean, UCLA.
Well, I had applied to a few law schools and my reach schools, my dream schools, and the ones that I thought would be attainable. And the one that was a bit of a stretch because it was the furthest one away, and I didn't know much about California or Los Angeles, but I knew at the time it was ranked number 7. I got partial scholarships, and I said, you know what? I'm going to take an opportunity to just venture out.
Your mother didn't go with you?
Oh, my Cuban mom? Are you kidding me? She wanted to pack herself in the suitcase with me. She was vehemently opposed to me going to UCLA. But at the time, my best friend was already in California, and I said, you know, this is an opportunity to see the world, see a different perspective of life. And
it is completely. It's
completely.
As much as we think we're all connected, it's a different world.
Completely.
Different world of immigrants.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And it opens your eyes to a way of life and a way of thinking that was completely foreign to me. As you can imagine, Cuban from Hialeah, the way that we think is probably a little different than, you know, the students coming out of Stanford or UC Berkeley or, you know, UCSD. It was just an incredibly different experience.
All right. So, big question.
Yep.
Did you ski at Big Bear?
Of course I've skied at Big Bear.
Okay. Real question.
Of course I've skied at Big Bear.
Did you? And I know this is a tough one. When my brother and I had a business in Montebello, that's East LA. I would ski in the morning, come down the mountain, and surf the same day.
You can do both.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It's incredible. Lake Tahoe.
The water's a little cold.
It's so cold. I mean, I love the West Coast, and I spent a lot of time in Santa Monica, in Huntington Beach is wonderful.
They're struggling right now. National News did a story. Most of the stores are empty. They're all scared about some certain things we'll talk about.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, but let's talk about. So you go to USA, you graduate.
Yep.
How'd you
end up in New York?
Oh, you went to New York after?
Yes. So I haphazardly ended up, after I graduated from UCLA, I knew that I was going to go to New York City. And so father was from Manhattan, born and raised. And so I said, I've got to give Gotham a chance. And so I knew before I came home to Miami, I needed to go out to New York. And my intentions were to take the New York bar. I ended up getting a job as a temporary receptionist.
You just graduated law school.
I did, but I was going to study for the bar.
Okay.
So stay with me. I said, I got to earn money. I can't afford to live in Manhattan. And so at that time I was ready, but I needed the time to study.
Right.
And so I ended up getting this opportunity to work at SAB Capital under Scott Baumer, who was the portfolio manager of the time. And one day he comes across and he sees me always reading. I have all these books while I'm answering the phones. He goes, do you like to read? Do you like to research? And I said, I love it. He goes, I need somebody that can assist my trading desk. Why don't you come back and try it out, see if you like it? And from that moment, I actually became an assistant analyst, as part of this trading desk on the buy side of this incredible hedge fund that was very, very successful at the time. And I learned so much, but I didn't know anything really about Wall Street in general. And so I learned, it was a very steep learning curve, but I had wonderful teachers. And about 2 years in, I had an opportunity to move to the South Side. Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, as you know, our Secretary of Commerce, ran Cantor Fitzgerald for, still does incredibly well. And so I had an opportunity to work on the South Side. And so that's what I did. I was hired and I moved to Dallas, took my Series 7, my 63, and I became a junior trader at Cantor Fitzgerald.
You still haven't passed the bar yet?
No. So I haven't.
Any bar?
No, haven't taken the bar yet. And so I become an institutional equities trader.
At what age?
This was 27.
Okay.
And so I said, I'm going to take the Florida bar. And that's what I did. I took the Florida bar while I was trading at Cantor Fitzgerald.
In Dallas.
And I moved to Manhattan. And I ended up working in Manhattan. Early mornings on the trading floor, one of 3 women on that trading floor. I'll never forget, 5th floor, 59th and Park. And it was the most incredibly high intensive, boiler room of an experience, because as you can imagine, every day on Wall Street,
the pressure,
the emotions, everything that there was to learn, I was able to pick up very quickly because I had no choice. It's a very time-sensitive industry, and you have to always be on your toes, and you have to always be watching what's
paying attention. All right, so from there.
So then after many years in Wall Street, after Cantor Fitzgerald, I went into private equity. And at this point, parents are getting a little older. I'm an only child. And so I said, you know what? I think it's time to come home.
Only child.
Only child.
From a Latin mother.
Correct.
I'm surprised you didn't come back at 21.
My mother still, to this day, she still calls me about 10 times a day. God bless her.
Lucky
and it was wonderful. And she came to visit a number of times, and we always kept in touch. She's my best friend in the world, and my mentor and hero in every single way, shape, and form. But I came home, and that was in 2016. At that point, I transitioned, went into law, where I started working on.
But you already passed the bar.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I passed the bar, the moral fitness exam, all the checks.
Yeah.
And so.
Your test was in Tampa.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And so became a practicing attorney. And in that time, I knew that I wanted.
Where was your office? Who were you with?
I was with Andrea Palma Levine and Solis. We were doing creditor litigation at the time on 57th and West and Red Road.
That is Red.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes. And so, and wonderful partners, senior partners, learned quite a bit from them. And they really gave me an opportunity to immerse myself in the legal profession. So I was attending pretrial conferences and mediating and litigating and working on files and discovery. And so it was yet again another one of these opportunities where I was thrust into the fire, and I had to learn quickly how things worked. And so another wonderful learning experience that I'm very, very grateful for.
All right. What year is that? What year are we?
So now I've met my husband on an airplane. And so now.
Going which way? To Miami or wait?
We were both actually going to Colombia for vacation.
You were going with?
I was going by myself to meet some friends down there.
And he was going?
And he was going with a group of friends.
All right, so you go down, you meet on the plane.
Seats assigned to next to one another.
You get to Colombia. He says, I'm going to call you back when you get back.
I said, well, I'm sorry. I live in New York and you live in Miami. It's never going to work. And it didn't for a number of years. But he always stayed in touch and would send me, every 6 to 8 months, he would send me a text message or a message or an email. How are you doing? Did you get married? Do you have children? Have you started a family? No,
Did he?
Not yet. No.
All right. So keep going. You decide when you move back to Miami, you set up and you go out and
I reached out to him.
Right.
And I said, I'm back in Miami and I'd love to get together for a cup of coffee. And,
Where was the first place?
we met at the Biltmore. We met
Okay.
at the Biltmore. And so we met there and we were engaged 6 months later.
How long you been married?
6 years.
6 years.
September.
And what does he do for a living?
He's in commercial real estate at Stream Realty.
Was he a realtor back then?
He's not a realtor, he's a broker, but he was doing commercial, corporate commercial consulting at CBRE at the time. And now he's leading the charge at Stream here in South Florida.
Okay, so you've been married how many years now?
6 years. It'll
6
be
years.
in September.
You have 2 children?
We do.
And how old?
Emerson is 4. He'll be 5 August 28th. And Alessandra is 2. She'll be 3 October 3rd.
Okay.
They're amazing.
Incredible. 2 kids, they fly by.
It's madness. It's controlled chaos.
Remember when your mother or parents were hovering you and give me some room. Now you're gonna be doing the same thing to your 2 kids.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
So
They're amazing.
How long you been living on Miami Beach?
So I would say since 2017, we've been living on the beach. My husband's been on the beach for over 20 years. And so when him and I got together, we were living at the Grand Venetian right off of Sunset Harbor area where Purdy and on Venetian Island.
They used to have flooding problems there. Okay.
Isn't that the truth? And so, but we loved it. And what we loved about it is being able to wake up and have that view of the beautiful water and the bay and the walkability and the fact that everything is just kind of within arm's reach. But then the pandemic hit and we were thrust into a situation where I was pregnant and we were all working from home. And luckily we had the ability to walk the causeway. And so that's what we would do every day. We would walk the causeway, we would speak to our neighbors from afar. And we really got out into the community that way. But in that time, him and I had some, serious heart-to-hearts about what the next step would be. And so I decided, with all the pro bono work that I do as a guardian ad litem advocate, I think it'd be a good, wise idea for me to open up a family law practice. And so while I was living in Miami Beach, that's what we did.
I have to bring this up. There was a commissioner on Miami Beach last term during COVID. Everybody thought he was crazy. He says, all the first responders should take the COVID shot. Get it over with, and it'll be better. Everybody thought he was crazy. Well, he was kind of right. If the first responders would have all got COVID early, things would have been a little bit better in Miami. And which commissioner that was.
Absolutely.
But he was right. But at the time, the world was upside down.
Sure.
Okay, so.
My mom was a first responder. My mom's a microbiologist. And while everybody was home, she was at the hospital running labs, running tests. And I still to this day think she was so brave to be out there in this unknown
to the world.
Unknown to the world.
All right, so you have 2 kids. Your husband's in real estate business.
Commercial real estate, yep.
And you play lawyer. So all this stuff that you've done, I have to ask, the money that you were dealing with, how much was it? Your firm.
In terms of the clientele?
Yeah, how much was it? $1 billion,
Well, the money that I was probably exposed to.
Right.
In Manhattan, while on Wall Street, it's an entirely different level of wealth because you're dealing with institutional investors. So we're talking millions and millions of dollars.
The reason I bring that up because you got Miami Beach. Your Miami Beach budget's how much?
For
what?
Are we talking about present budget?
Yes, present budget of Miami Beach.
$1 million. We've got $1 billion budget. We have an incredible amount of.
Right. So you're used to these kind of numbers, and that's important. And the fact when even though you have a city manager, somebody has to oversee the city manager. People don't realize the city manager runs the town.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are the board of directors.
Sure.
And you have to make sure that everybody's moving in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
In my belief in politics, the 3 Ps, when you're worrying about a city, police. That's the number one concern of any city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The next thing people want when they're moving into a community, they want to make sure the police is tops. They want to make sure the parks are tops.
Yep.
And then even though you're not in charge of public schools, do they have good public schools? And that's how people decide. Now, I might send my kid to a private school, but I want to have the choice.
Correct.
If it's a bad public school, I don't have a choice. And if I could make the choice, so let's start with the police.
Sure.
Miami Beach is a different animal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's 34 cities in Dade County. Everybody goes to Miami Beach.
Everybody wants to be a police officer in Miami Beach for good reason. We have the Miami Beach under Chief Wayne does an incredible, and Mayor Minor has done a fantastic job with ensuring safety levels are where residents feel comfortable with now. You know, obviously crime has been reduced dramatically in Miami Beach. And I think for the most part, residents feel incredibly safe.
Now there's three, to me, there's North Beach, Mid Beach, South Beach, and then there's South of Fifth. Is that
South Beach, yeah. Well, you got South of Fifth, and you've got Washington and Ocean Drive, and those are their own
animals.
Correct.
Yeah.
But you've got Mid Beach, which is predominantly, you have several pockets of Orthodox communities in Mid Beach, and you've got a number of schools in that area between North Beach Elementary and Temple Shalom, and you have St. Pat's. So you've got a lot of young families too.
A
lot of young families.
All right, so the police is a big conversation. Nationwide, statewide, localized, and you have so many tourists. It's a different animal.
Yep.
You know, other cities, they don't have as many tourists come in. What does the chief or the city need to do different to make it better? Do they need to hire more police officers?
I think they want to feel, and I actually had cafecito with a cop this morning at Bagel Boss on 41st. And I was speaking with a number of the lieutenants that were present, some of the sergeants, and we spoke. What they want to feel is that they are empowered to do their jobs,
the cops,
correctly, and that we give them the resources that they need to institute the practices that are going to better help, call times, that they're going to have the public backing of their commission, of their mayor, so that they feel supported on the public stage. Because it's very easy to say, well, I support the blue behind closed doors. But you need to be able to feel that same united front with your residents, so that the residents know that this is a community partnership with our front lines. They need to feel supported. I also spoke to a few of them that said, unfortunately, we can't afford to live in Miami Beach, so we live in West Kendall.
Who, you talk police officers?
Correct.
Well,
and so
how can they?
They can't. So the affordability issue is obviously a concern. Now, with regards to ensuring they have the right tools and the techniques and the processes in place, that's where we come in. We need to make sure that there are those resources, that we are leveraging AI, that we are making sure that the technology is where it needs to be for them, so that they can effectively patrol and enhance the safety that has already been put into place in Miami Beach. I can say, as a mom of 2 young children, I can walk up and down 41st Street, Ocean Drive, Washington. I don't feel particularly unsafe. Certainly not. It's improved dramatically since spring break of yesteryear.
You know, it's funny because I was on Cafe Avante. That's 41st.
Yep.
People don't realize there's 3 or 4 police officers parked in the middle of the road for the Orthodox Jews, to feel comfortable. I was at South Beach Seafood Festival, and this is a couple years ago. And I go there every year, and it's a great event for Miamians and out-of-towners to come to, not the big fancy one. And I spoke to Minor before he was the mayor. I said, I see these certain things that would help. This is when he was running, first go-around. Mm-hmm. And the event was unbelievable, but a couple blocks off, it was so dark, the street. Mm-hmm. He just put more lighting. After he got elected, he put more lighting out. So the mayor is trying to make it better.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
I brought it up to him, he did it. So the police, you need to give them the tools to help fight crime.
And let them feel as though they have a true partnership with the commissioners, with the city manager, with the municipality in general, so that they don't have to fight for resources. Give them, and the city does a fantastic job of providing them with what they need. Now, we just need to ensure when it comes to task force, if they're trying to create task force that we need, be it for, now they have now they have the drones going out where they.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And so I am so excited. I'm actually hoping to go in and see it for myself. But I think that there's so much opportunity to be able, if we can get that battery life going a little longer, have them go beyond 41st Street into North Beach, I think that would be such an incredible tool for them. How
many cops are there? Do you know?
I think about 400. I think it's about a 400 person force.
And I know that now during the big rush, that you hire more off-duty cops to help support these issues.
Kind of security officers.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, next thing. We did the police, parks.
Parks, green spaces, we need them. I think, I absolutely love what Parks and Recs has been doing for the city of Miami Beach. One of my very, very good friends is the chair of Parks and Recs. Shout out to Sean Smith, who is phenomenal.
Sean Smith?
Yes.
Somebody I know knows him. He says he does great work.
He does excellent work. He is my husband's very best friend. He was in my wedding. And so I love the work.
We weren't. Rochelle,
you're the only one that was not in my wedding.
You and I weren't in his wedding. The wedding.
Apparently, you're the only one was not in the wedding. Our vow renewal grant.
Okay, I'll be there.
Make sure to be there. But I think Parks and Recs, they're doing an incredible job. We live right behind Polo Park, and we were able to write a resolution. The NAHA board, Nautilus Homeowners Association, was able to write a resolution to get lights in the park. So once dusk comes down, that the kids are able to play basketball. That's something that we did for the Nautilus Middle School. Green spaces are, as you can imagine, a very big concern. As I've been on the campaign trail speaking to residents, what it is that they want facilities that rival the facilities that Doral has, that Sweetwater has, that West Kendall has, for these children to play competitive soccer, to play competitive lacrosse, to do all of these activities that we right now have to figure out how to find the acreage to give them.
Correct. Your baseball program is outstanding. Your youth baseball travel teams, Danny Berry does a great job.
My son is in Danny Berry. He starts Pee Wees on Sunday.
And when you see Danny Berry, you say to him, "It's a great day for," and he'll say, "baseball."
He's the best. We love Danny, and my son has been with him since he was 2 years old. So,
all right. So the challenge is you're landlocked. You don't have a lot of space. But you're redoing a lot of the parks.
Yep.
And the JCC has a great indoor facility that helps the community.
Sure does.
All right, public schools. Miami Beach High School. It's really
IB program. There's
right.
Nothing.
And then middle school, you have
we have Nautilus Middle School.
You have any other ones?
So Nautilus, no. So Nautilus is our middle school. Miami Beach High is our high school.
And elementary.
And we have quite enough. We have South Point Elementary. Great. We have North Beach Elementary. We have Biscayne Elementary. We have, God forgive me, Feinberg Fisher, which is K through 8. So we have excellent elementary schools.
Right. Charter schools, you got a few charter schools there?
We do. We have a few we have a number of parochial schools. Yes. We have schools. We have charter schools. I would say we have about 23 to 24 academic institutions of varying sizes on Miami Beach. However, I will say that if we can invest in a marketing, I would say, campaign to put out to the world, to put out to Miami-Dade County, put out to those that are thinking of coming to South Florida, to let them know how wonderful the programming is in these elementary schools. They might not feel the need to have to send their child off island to
Miami Country Day,
the country days, that there's no space to send children there anymore because everybody from New York, California, and Boston are trying to get their kids into the same school.
You have some Montessori schools there, don't you?
We do. Montessori is excellent, and I have a very good friend that works there. And
where is that located?
That's in South. That's, okay. I believe, South Fifth. And there's also one actually in Mid Beach as well, as you approach Collins, I believe. But we have the gifted programming at North Beach Elementary under Principal Fishman is incredible. I think that the IB program, the STEAM labs, the robotic labs, the opportunity for athletics, so many people aren't aware of how really how strong academics are in North Beach, Mid Beach, as well as South Beach. Now, of course, you have to work in tandem with the Miami-Dade County School Board,
Right.
and you have to ensure that your enrollment numbers need to stay up, because the more you have children enrolled in the public school system, the more funding you're going to be able
That's
to
correct.
receive from the county. So let's
I mean,
leverage.
it's from the school board.
Correct. So we leverage that relationship, try to make sure we're bringing in numbers, not taking them away or taking them off island. And so that's a huge part of my platform, making sure that QEC has an advocate on the commission, on the dais, that can speak to them about these educational issues. Because like you said, the average family, the average working class family, they just want their kids to be safe and go to a good school. They don't have to worry about education. And they certainly don't want to have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for it if they don't have to.
That's correct. Okay, we got about 2.5 more minutes.
Yep.
To me, Miami Beach is a hidden gem because most people that live on the mainland, I know it's hard to believe, but there was a guy named Joe Neville. I used to do business with him, and he would call me, "You're from the mainland." I go, "What are you talking about in the mainland?" He says, "I don't leave Miami Beach. I don't cross the causeway."
Yeah.
All right, Miami Beach is a hidden gem because a lot of people, tourists, a lot of people don't go over to visit enough. Hidden gems. Your top 5 favorite hidden gems in Miami Beach.
Okay, here we go. Prima Pasta on 71st. Can never go wrong with Prima Pasta on a Friday night.
Hold on one second. Rochelle, I should have worn my hats, right? I usually do hats in different restaurants. Okay. Go ahead.
So Prima Pasta, that's always that's a staple for our family. Let's see. Cool Medium, 16th and Collins. I believe it's 16th and Collins. The excuse the phrase, but the coolest jazz bar.
Okay.
It's underground. You have to go down the stairs, but it's unbelievable. Best drinks, best music. Absolutely love Cool Medium. The splash pad at South Point Park. Can't get my kids out of the splash pad in South Point Park. It's particularly at sunrise and sunset. It's wonderful. And then you got Smith & Walensky right next door.
Great bread.
Great bread. We already spoke about Cafe Avanti,
Right.
which that is a neighborhood staple for us. The North Shore Park, the park where my kids play baseball. We spend a lot of time in that park, and we love it. Maurice Gibb, the new park that was just renovated on Purdy Avenue in Sunset Harbor.
Maurice Gibb.
Gibb.
From where? The Gibbs.
The Gibbs.
The Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees, yes.
Yeah.
And I think all 3 of the brothers lived in.
So they all at one time lived there.
At one time lived there. Did I say? Oh, and a shout out to Latin Cafe on 41st, where I always get my colada, cortadito, and croquetas every Saturday morning with my kids.
Okay, so it's 11 o'clock. Baseball's over. A Saturday. Tell me what you're going to do from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock with your family on Miami Beach.
Knock on doors.
No, I'm talking about
Knock on doors.
Okay, after you get elected.
After I get elected, I'm on the commission.
What are you going to do with your kids? You're going to take them where?
Taking them to Super Soccers.
Super Soccer.
Super Soccers in Flamingo Park.
Okay.
That's every Saturday. Got it. They hit tennis balls at Equilite on 54th and Collins for the tennis camp. We like to keep our kids active. So wherever we can keep, if it's a local park or if a local activity, we're doing it. We like to partake in band shell events, park events, and then, of course, the beach.
Okay.
You'll always find us with sandy toes.
So people want to know who you are. Now we know who you are.
Yes, and I appreciate that very much.
That's important. Politics are one thing, but it's the most important. The people, the residents, need to know who they're going to vote for.
Yep. And I will, one thing before we close that I didn't really touch much upon is in my work as a family law attorney, I am a guardian ad litem, and I am an advocate for children in the court system. And that to me is very much defines who I am and why I want to do this, because I want to help. And I've always had a heart of service. And the same way that I advocate for those children and for my clients is the same way I hope to advocate for the residents of Miami Beach. And they'll get to know much more about me as the months progress into the election, which is on November 4th.
You can vote early voting.
Yes, you can. Request those absentee ballots, vote early. And if you want to learn a little bit more about me, you can go to www.moniqueformiamibeach.com. I am running in Group 1, and I am very excited and hope to earn your support throughout this journey in the campaign trail.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Miami Community Newspaper is the #1 local news source. Have a great day.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Grant.